Most B2B e-commerce sites are built for the wrong buyer, not the wrong product, not the wrong price. The wrong picture of who's actually showing up and what they need to feel confident enough to move. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you exactly how real B2B buyers search, decide, buy, and why most sites are structured to fail them before they ever get close to purchase. Most people think growth in e-commerce comes from ads, traffic, or conversion tactics. But in technical commerce, the real issue usually starts deeper in the system. This is commerce mechanics. If you're running the e-commerce side of a distributor, a supplier, or a hybrid B2B business in automotive aftermarket, marine, HVAC, welding, material handling, electrical components, industrial replacement parts, this one is for you. Especially if your buyers are contractors, installers, technicians, shop owners, and procurement teams, people who are not browsing, they're solving, and your site has to work for all of them once. And here's how we'll break this down. What actually triggers a B2B search, and why the intent is already formed before they hit your site. 2. The two types of B2B buyers, what each one needs, and how most sites fail both of them. 3. What your catalog has to do structurally to match how each buyer thinks. Here's what most e-commerce teams get wrong about their own buyers. They build the site as if the buyer arrives curious, open to being shown around, maybe a little undecided, persuadable by a clean layout or a well-placed banner. That's not who's showing up. In technical B2B, the buyer arrives with a problem already in hand. A part failed, machine is down, a job is stalled, something has to be replaced before tomorrow morning. And the search didn't start with curiosity. It started with urgency, which means the search is already specific before it starts. They're not asking what's out there. They're asking, does it exist? Does it fit my application? And can I get it in time? And that changes everything about what the site needs to do. It isn't there to generate interest. It's there to resolve a specific problem fast, with enough precision that the buyer feels confident enough to move. B2B buyers don't need to be sold. They need to be answered. When you look at how B2B buyers actually come into a technical catalog, they break into two types. The first one knows exactly what they need. They have the part number, the SKU, the spec. They're coming in for confirmation, not exploration. The second knows something is wrong, but yet they haven't translated that problem into the specific part they need to fix. They're coming in for guidance. Your site has to work for both, and most sites are only built for one of them, usually the wrong one, and that's where growth leaks. Picture a shop owner. It's 7 a.m., the customer comes in at 8. He needs a specific alternator, exact fitment, exact amp rating. It has to be in stock and shippable today. So he searches for the part number, lands on a product page, sees a title, a price, and one supplier image. No fitment confirmation, no stock status above the fold, no dimensions, and no compatibility notes. He doesn't call, he doesn't wait, he goes to the next site. That wasn't a traffic problem. That was not an ad problem. The catalog failed that buyer at the moment of the highest intent. And it happens hundreds of times a day on sites that look perfectly functional from the inside. Quick pause. If this is already shifting how you think about your site, not as a product catalog, but as a system that has to match a very specific kind of buyer, you're in the right place. This channel is for operators running technical B2B aftermarket businesses who want to understand how these systems actually work, not which tactic to test next, and the mechanics underneath. If you're seeing this in your own business, buyers are bouncing, support calls that should be self-serve, or traffic that won't convert the way the number suggests it should, drop a comment below. Tell me where it breaks. And that's how we decide to what topic we go deeper in the series. One more thing, if this way of thinking resonates and you want to keep going deeper, we publish a newsletter called Parts and Profits. This is where we unpack the catalog quality, product data, segmentation, and margin discipline for mid-market technical B2B brands. No hype, no hacks. The link is in the description. Okay, back to it. The first type of buyer walks in with precision already loaded. They have the part number or the SKU or the exact spec pulled off the equipment. They have bought this before, or they have done the research, or they pulled off the tag of the machine that's currently sitting idle on the job site. Their search is a statement, not a question. They're not exploring, they are confirming. What does this buyer need from our site? Not persuasion, confirmation, fast. They need to land on the right page and verify in seconds. Yes, this is the right part. It fits my application. It's in stock. Here's the lead time. Here's what I'm paying. Done. If your product pages make them work for that confirmation, the title is vague, the fitment is buried in the tab, stock status is below the fold, the pack size isn't visible, they bounce. Not because they didn't want to buy, because you didn't give them what they needed to trust the decision. And here's what makes this painful. That buyer had the highest intent of anyone who will visit your site today. They knew exactly what they wanted, they were ready to spend, and the catalog turned a sure thing into a lost order because the information architecture was built for internal convenience, not buyer confidence. In the technical buying, friction at the confirmation stage is almost always fatal. The buyer doesn't complain, they don't call, they just leave. The second type of buyer comes in with a problem, not a part number. They know that something is wrong. A pump is losing pressure, a motor is running hot, a seal is leaking, the equipment is making a sound it shouldn't, but they haven't yet translated that problem into a specific part they need. Their search looks different. It starts with a symptom, application, a machine type, a use case. For example, a hydraulic seal for excavator bucket cylinder, high temp gasket for commercial HVAC unit, replacement impeller for a 2-inch centrifugal pump. This buyer isn't less valuable. In a lot of cases, they're more valuable because they are in the active problem-solving mode. And if your site guides them to the right answer, you've earned something the part number doesn't give you, a real trust built through experience. But they need completely different things from the catalog. They need navigation that reflects how they're thinking, by application, by equipment type, by symptom, not by your internal category structure. They need category pages that function as decision guides, not database views. And they need product pages that speak to the problem, not just describe the spec. And here's what happens when the site can't do that. The symptom buyer lands on a category page that looks like a spreadsheet. No application context, no guidance on how to narrow down, no signal anywhere that the site understands what they're trying to solve. So they bounce, or they call your support line, or they go to a competitor whose site at least organizes things the way that makes sense for someone with a broken pump and 30 minutes to fix it. That's not a marketing failure. That's the catalog built for the people who manage it, not the people who need it. Here's what makes this genuinely hard. Both buyer types are real, both are valuable, both are hitting your catalog at the same time, and they need different things from the same site. The part number buyer needs confirmation at speed. Get them to the right page, give them everything above the fold, and get out of the way. But the symptom buyer needs navigation that thinks like they think. Get them from problem to product without a phone call or a guess. You can't pick one and ignore the other. Your catalog has to serve both, and most don't. Most are built around the third model entirely, internal logic. That's how warehouses are organized, how suppliers send the data, how team named categories 5 years ago. That's the structural mismatch. And it's invisible from inside the business until you start watching what buyers actually do when they land on the site. If you're watching this and recognizing your own catalog in what I just described, built for internal logic, not buyer logic, that's a structural problem. And structural problems don't get solved by adjusting the ad budget. That's what the Scube game plan is built for. It's a focused diagnostic on your paid campaigns, your product feeds, and your analytics. We look at what's contributing to performance, what's masking the real picture, and where the structure is working against you. And all that is interpreted through the margin reality of your actual business, not a generic e-commerce benchmark. If there's a fit, we'll show you exactly what your demand capture is doing and where the leverage is being left on the table. If you want to see it clearly instead of guessing at it, the link is below. Get a game plan. Here's how this plays out in practice, and why it's so hard to see from the inside the business. The catalog gets built around internal logic, category names that make sense to the ops team, but not a technician on a job site. Titles that lead with the brand name and internal SKU number and bury the attributes the buyer is actually using to verify fit. Filters built around fields that were easy to populate, not around how buyers actually navigate. The part number buyer lands and has to hunt. The fitment confirmation is in a tab they didn't open. The stock status is below the fold. fold. A pack size requires a calculation, so they hesitate. And in technical buying, the hesitation is almost never revolves in your favor. They leave without telling you why. The symptom buyer lands on the category page that gives them no direction. Grid of products with no application context. No way to use filter by equipment type or use case. No signal that the site was built for someone with their specific problem. So they bounce. And that gets logged as a session, counted as traffic, reported as a conversion rate problem, and blamed on the ad campaign that sent them there. The team adjusts the keywords, refreshes the creative, tests a new bidding strategy. And the real problem, the catalog not matching how buyers think, stays exactly where it was. When the catalog is built around buyer logic, the whole operating picture changes. The part number buyer lands on a page that confirms everything above the fold. Fitment, stock, lead time, pack size, no hunting, no hesitation. They add to cart and move. The decision was already made before they arrived. Your site just had to not get into the way. The symptom buyer lands in a structure that speaks to their language. Navigation organized by application and equipment type. Category pages that narrow down the field instead of displaying it. Product pages that answer the problem, not just describe the component. Enough content that I think this might work becomes I know this is right. Support load drops because the page does work. Wrong orders drop because confidence replaced guessing. Conversion improves not because you drove more traffic, but because the buyers you already had could finally complete the decision. And the accounts that turned into your best long-term customers, the ones that reorder, expand, or refer, a lot of them start with one clean experience and one product page. One buyer who found the right part, trusted the information, got it on time, and came back. That's the compounding advantage of getting this right. Not more SKUs, not lower prices, a catalog that matches how your buyers actually think. Here's the diagnostic I would run on any technical B2B catalog. Number one, if a buyer already has the part number, can they land on the right page and confirm fitment, stock, pack size, lead time in under 10 seconds without scrolling? Number two, if a buyer knows the problem but not the part, can your navigation guide them to buy application, equipment, or symptom in a way that actually reflects how they think? And number three, at the end of either path, can they complete the purchase without a call, quote request, or a guess? If the answer breaks anywhere in that sequence, the problem isn't the ad channel. It's not the traffic source. It's structural. And you can't fix a structural problem by pushing harder on something downstream. Here's your homework for the next episode. Pick 5 product pages from different parts of your catalog. Then walk through them with both buyer types. Come in first as a part number buyer. Search the exact SKU or part number. Can you confirm fitment, stock, pack size, and lead time without scrolling past the fold? Not, you're losing your highest intent buyers at the exact moment they're almost ready to spend. Then come in as a symptom buyer. Start from a problem or an application. Does the structure guide you to the right part without a call? Does the product page speak to the problem, or does it just describe the spec and leave the buyer to figure out the rest? Whenever the answer is no, that's not a traffic problem. That's your best buyers hitting a dead end at the moment they're most ready to spend. And that's not something better ad fixes. The structure is either matching how your buyers think, or it's costing you the orders you already earned. If you're ready to see what your demand capture is actually doing, not what the dashboard suggests, the link is in the description. Get a game plan. The operators who understand their systems win. Keep watching. Next episode of e-commerce mechanics: how customer acquisition really works, and why accounts that turn into your best long-term relationships almost never start the way most companies expect. Subscribe so you don't miss. I'll see you there.